Hey there! So I've accumulated quite a few used books over the last little while. Some of them I got at thrift stores and some of them I got at used bookstores, but today I wanted to do sort of an amalgamation of a few different trips and show you what thrifted books I've got. So probably like 80 to 90% of all of the books that I have here are thrifted or secondhand. Somebody has given them to me. I buy very few books new. So the first haul I'm going to do is actually from my local Value Village that I did today. Value Village has a deal where if you buy 4, you get 1 for free, and they usually have really good prices on their books, even though they are getting a little bit expensive now. I got most of these books for under $5, a lot of them were under $2. So out of the 5 books that I got at Value Village, I haven't read any of them, so they are all TBR. The first book I got is Reading Lolita in Tehran. I have heard some really good things about this book, and so I'm really excited to read it. I actually just read Lolita a year ago for the first time, and I really liked it. I really hated it, but I really liked it at the same time. I'm hoping this one is all like. So this is basically about some women in Tehran who get together secretly to learn about Western culture through books, and I haven't read it yet, but I've heard some really good things about it. The next book is another book that has been recommended to me over and over again, and that is All the Light We Cannot See. It's by Anthony Doerr? Someone correct me on that? So basically from what I understand about this is it's a love story between a blind girl from Nazi-occupied Paris and a boy from Germany. I really didn't want to read too much about it or hear too much about it because I really like to go into books blind, but I have heard it's really good. The next 3 books I got in the religion and spirituality section, and they're all Buddhist books. Come the summer, I'm going to be leading a Buddhist study group, and so I really wanted to brush up on my Buddhist culture and my Buddhist readings, so I found these 3 books in the section that looked really good and might be useful for my club. This book is by Deepak Chopra, and it's called Buddha, and it's literally just a novel telling the story of the Buddha. The next book I got is actually sort of an anthology of Buddhist texts, and it's called Buddhist Texts Through the Ages. Pretty straightforward. And the final book I got at Value Village today is by Robin Sharma, and it's The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. This is a pretty popular book in spirituality, and I think I'm going to enjoy it. So that's all I have from Value Village from today, but a week or so ago I went to a used bookstore and I got some really great books, so I'm going to share those with you too. So before I even went into the used bookstore, I found what's called a lending library, or a little library depending on where you are. It's usually a wooden box outside someone's house where people can put books that they no longer use and they can take what they like or are interested in. So I found a book by Laurie McNulty called Life on Mars. I have absolutely no idea what it's about, but the cover looked interesting, so I thought I'd give it a shot. The first book I got I was super excited to have found because I was going to buy it new, but then finding it used was even better. It's Jenny Han's To All the Boys I've Loved Before. So I'm sure you've heard lots about this book, so I'm just going to summarize it really quick. It's about a girl who, over her life, has written love letters to the boys that she's had crushes on, and one day all those letters get sent out to those boys. It's now a Netflix show, and I really want to read the book before I watch the movie, but I've heard it's really good, so I can't wait to get there. So the first book I got is George Orwell's 1984, a classic. I'm sure you've heard of it before. I'm sure you read it in high school. I did as well. I read this in high school and I really want to read it again as an adult because I've been going back and rereading a bunch of the books that I read in high school and I've totally found a new appreciation for them. So I can't wait to get to this one again. The rest of these books are all TBR. I have not read them yet, but I'm looking forward to it. So the next book that I got is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I'm sure you've all heard all about it, but I finally got a copy of it. I have not read it yet, and it's going to be the next book that I'm going to read, and I'm super excited about it. I also haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm going to read the book before I watch the movie. I love Ray Bradbury. I love The Martian Chronicles and Fahrenheit 451, and one of his books that I have not read yet is Something Wicked This Way Comes. So I managed to get my hands on a copy of this, and I'm really excited to read it. This is supposed to be a pretty spooky book set in October in the Midwest. It's about a very creepy carnival, but I won't get into it too much to spoil it. It's supposed to be really, really good. The next book I got is Andy Weir's The Martian. This is a major picture with Matt Damon, and I have not read it yet, and so I'm looking forward to doing it, but it's basically about an astronaut who goes on an expedition to Mars and gets left behind. The last book I've got to show you today is this really beautiful copy of F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Last Tycoon. Isn't that just so beautiful? I've always wanted to own some books like this, and F. Scott Fitzgerald is another of my favorite authors, so I'm really excited to read this one. The pages are all so beautiful and old. So that's all the books I have to show you today. These are all bought secondhand. I think I spent about 30 Canadian dollars cumulatively on all of these. I really recommend buying books secondhand. You'll never know what you're gonna get, and you can always find something really interesting. So that's all the books that I have today. I have plenty of other sets of thrift hauls. If you ever want to see one of those, let me know in the comments down below. If you want me to do a tour of my bookshelf or to show off any of my genre shelves, let me know as well, and maybe I'll put out some more book videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.